think materiality is probably a good place to start the discussion because really ESG is fundamentally an issue of risk as well as opportunity, hopefully. So how does the company go about understanding, how does the board understand what issues are material both qualitatively and quantitatively? And I think also the question is, also, are there issues that are so material that they should be factored into strategy?
I want to just step back. The traditional notions of what's material and what were the key drivers for an organization and its performance over the long term may be called into the question and may not be relevant. So I think it's important that we ask our management teams to tell us what the landscape is when it comes to ESG, what is material to the organization, and really prioritize spending the time at the board meeting and committee meetings, but I really emphasize board meetings to have a conversation, a generative, open conversation of what ESG means to this company. I think it's important that, as a board, it's our job. We have to empower our management teams to one, make sure that they prioritize ESG within their own learning, that they make sure that they have the right people in those positions that are really at the front of the disclosure, your chief sustainability officers, your CHROs, that they are coming to the board meetings and they're reporting in and they're sharing what's the landscape for this company.
So what does the board need to know about the numerous frameworks that are out there, like the Sustainability Accounting Standards Board, the Task Force on Climate-Related Disclosure, the Global Reporting Initiative, and the newest entry is the World Economic Forum's International Business Council?
We have resources that we can tap into. We have our CFO, we have our CEO. And part of that is, asking, first of all, our own organization, please lay out the landscape of this disclosure regime and what makes sense, what is relevant for us, and what is our approach. And again, I think it's really critical that we make the time on the agenda to have the conversation. It's not a 10-minute, let's have a check the box conversation. This is, we have carved out time at the board, and whether it's the audit committee when we're talking about these disclosure regimes, and having a generative conversation. Tell me, how do these frameworks apply to us? What is our approach, and how are we going to disclose that we took one approach over another? I think this is also around investor relations and shareholder engagement and having conversations with our investors to understand what are your priorities, and when you look at our organization, where do you see the gaps and what can we do? I mean, I think it's really important to have these dialogues on clear days, not during proxy season, and have that, collaboration, and find out what's, what makes sense for the organization.